feminine, masculine, positive, negative, light and dark. But then times came when separation came over humanity, and even more. Once there was a time when cultures were in balance, when there was harmony and peace, and there was female leadership. But then time came when separation came over humanity, and even more. But now new times are arriving, new times of new balance, new female leadership, times of balance and harmony and peace. I come from Holland, from a country with a lot of flowers, and it's springtime. But then winter comes, and all the seeds of the flowers are deep into the frozen land. But then a new spring arrives, and we see all these seeds coming up in new flowers, even more beautiful than before. And this is the age of the new spring, of the new balance, of the new female leadership. I give you back tonight some flowers, geometric flowers, cosmic flowers. And we could divide these bunch of flowers I'm giving you back in all kinds of fields. Why am I doing this? Because I want to give you back a lost period in his story. His story. And what about her story? Prehistory was her story. So I need to go back in time in order to reconstruct those societies of balance, peace, and female leadership. And I need all those disciplines in order to do that. But tonight I cannot do everything. So I pick up a few of those flowers. For example, archaeology, art history, anthropology, a little mythology, religious study, and most of all, psychology, evolutionary and neuropsychology. If you want to read more, you could go to my website, the blue, www.Annine VanderMeer, Articles 2016. And there I wrote an article of all those 9 fields, an extended article. So it's there, all information is there, you can get it. I wrote that article for the Asian Journal of Women's Studies because I lectured on Ewha University this summer in Seoul in Korea. That's why it was ready. So you're happy, you're fortunate, everything was ready. Well, in order to reconstruct her story, we have to deconstruct his story. And we construct our story. It's not about feminism, it's about balance. What is a traditional view on evolution? What is the traditional view on gender? What is the traditional view? This was thought to be a weapon. Tarzan was carrying a weapon, but not in her story vision. He is carrying a calendar where women could count the days before menstruation, before pregnancy. No weapons in her story. Calendars. The traditional view in evolution, man the hunter, man the shaman, man the potter, man the artist. In every museum the same, all over the world. But also in a children's book of 2006. So, if you have children or grandchildren and they go to the library, what do they learn about his story? Fighting, aggressiveness, war, viciousness against animals, long weapons to wound him. And the women always sitting in quite a passive posture. He is painting the caves, cave art. He is sculpting that beautiful feminine art, Venus art. And where is she? No she in this picture. Venus of Brassampouy, Willendorf, this is Czechia. Venus of Dolny Vestorici. But now the vision of her story. Because I am a her historian. These prints of the hands were proved to be feminine hands. Long, long research it took. But when we could prove that there were also feminine handprints on the cave arts, we could prove that females were painting too. And females were shamanizing too. So in that children book, so many images of active standing men, and only little of images of women, mostly sitting. No images of women in spiritual functions. This is his story, this is traditional. And then another thing. The traditional view on evolution is from primitive to highly civilized. Western culture, oh so civilized. Native cultures, nature peoples, primitive, uncivilized. But so many cultures see it differently. They see it other way round. They see golden ages of a high spirituality, high ethical standard, high values. And then it goes from golden to silver, to copper, to bronze. And in Bronze Age, something happens, something changes. Then the climate changed, and we see a lot of weapons in the graves, in art. Defensive walls around cities. So Chinese, the ancient Chinese say, well, golden age, the age of perfect virtue, the age when man knew only his mother and not his father. Indian people say we have Krita Yuga, golden age, perfect virtue. And then the consciousness is lowering into Kali Yuga, very dark age we are in now. But we're coming up again. And then classical Greece, the same view. The Maya calendar, the Hopis in Americas, same view, from highly to uncivilized. And in Bronze Age and Iron Age, war came over humanity. So before Bronze Age, no wars, no weapons, no aggressiveness. And then this big change. also in consciousness. You could say golden age and silver age, we consciousness, togetherness, solidarity. And in those lower ages, bronze and irons, another mentality, a mentality of the ego, the small ego. And now times are coming, we have to connect this small little ego with the bigger we consciousness we once had. And females have to take the lead in this transition in consciousness. I give you back matriarchal studies. They reconstruct her story according to an interdisciplinary and comparative method, scientific method. We, from matriarchal studies, we have conferences all over the world. This was in Toronto, 2009. And then we have gatherings, this was a small one in Germany. And we see her, Heidi Güttner-Abendroth. She was the founder, and she went to China to do research in modern matriarchal societies. Because they were not only in a very old age, in prehistory, no, they have survived even till today in remote parts of the world and still kept their harmonious way of living together in extended families. So I'm giving you back the first flower of matriarchal studies. What is matriarchy? It is not a dominating system. It is not about patriarchy. Matriarchy is about the mother in the center, the mother in an extended family, in a clan family or tribe family. And the mother is central, is very venerated, and she is guarding peace. These are societies of peace. And she has several conflict-solving methods. Because people are living together, there's a long oral tradition. But when there are conflicts, they solve by doing rituals, by doing sportivities, and not competitive, but sportive. And when there is something really difficult, she has the final authority to take a decision in the common interests, and everybody accepts this. So societies over the world, matriarchal, whether they are very ancient or modern, they have a common deeper layer. They have a similarity in spiritual, social, political, economical, and cultural aspect. What about the spiritual aspect? So whether I am in Alaska or in Mexico or in the Philippines, these societies, they are egalitarian and have this common layer. And how do we know? Because we meet in conferences people from all over the world, from nature societies, also from scientific background, and we compare and we discuss these things. And what we found out, in these cultures, nature is holy. So, mountains, trees, waters, it is holy. There is no hierarchy. A tree, they can feel the energy of the tree. The mountain, the cave, the waters. Everything is divine. Everything is respected. The animals, the human beings. And there's a lot of veneration for the ancestors. In social aspect, they have a clan ordering. So you have 3 or 4 generations living in a long house, an extended family, where the brother and sister relation is very, very dear. And they have this matrilineal lineage. So their name is coming from the mother. They carry their mother's name. And they live in the mother's house. They are mothering, so not one is mother, but they're all mothering, whether they're male or female, the children. There's no loneliness, no aggressiveness. They're together and taking care for each other, caring and sharing. In political aspect, there's a consensus, no majority or minority decisions. They talk and deliberate till they reach a consensus on a local, regional, and even national level. Economic aspect. There's no accumulation of very rich and very poor. When somebody has a shortage, it's shared by the ones who have more. So there's a circulation of gift, circulation of goods, and they give a lot. Because when you give, cosmos gives you back. Cultural, there's a year cycle, so nature is giving the rhythm of the year. The moon is important, and they feast a lot of partying and dancing and singing and making jokes and the art. It's the art of the ancestors, and I've written a thick book. It's over there. And so when we see the tribal mothers, we see ancestors. I want to tell you a little bit about the Haudenosaunee, the Iroquois Confederation in Northern America. And there are 6 tribes, and we know Barbara Ellis Mann, she's elder of this Iroquois tribe. So she tells us about this. And she said, did you know that we have women and men councils, and that the women decide over the agenda of the male councils? And when the males want to fight or to make war, they have to ask permission to the female council. Wow, what a civilized society. Well, then the patriarchy arrived in Bronze Age and Iron Age, and we also reconstruct this transition. And we read books about this. One I could advise you is The Fall from Steve Taylor, and he's saying we had 3 fallen cultures, and then in Bronze and Iron Age we fell, and there was an ego explosion. And now we have to leave it, but how? And another one, the Saharasia theory of James de Meo, is about the desertification of planet Earth. He's saying that we have Sahara, Arabia, and Asia, Saharasia theory. The drier the Earth gets, the harder the heart of the people get, the more strict and severe against women and children. This was what I wanted to give you back about ancient egalitarian cultures, but also modern ones. Let's go to another flower, art history. Let's look at the evolution of the female image. And when we look all over the world in these pre-historian cultures, we see so much female art. What about this? How can? All over the world. And when you go into Old Stone Age, so Ice Age, we have these beautiful Venuses. We have, because we are hosted in Bratislava, the Venus of Slovakia, the Venus of Moravani, and we have in Czechia the Venus of Dolní Věstonice. And we have, of course, the oldest one, Hohenfels, Austria, Wielendorf, Lesbüge, France, Bassantville. This is Russia. Many come from Russia. And Wielendorf, and this is Switzerland. And here we have her. I would love you to enjoy this beautiful ancestral mother. She's pregnant because we have 13 body postures of the divine female, and one of them is having hands on the belly, the pregnant belly, and showing the vulva, indicating the vulva. This is the Venus of Dolní Věstonice in Czechia. So Rubenesque, belt, no feet, small head, mask, pendulous breasts, and a big navel. This is Ukraine, because so many beautiful Venuses come from Ukraine. Pregnant belly, hands on the belly, you see the same body posture, but she has a little hat. Hey, those females, they were weaving, they were knitting, they were plaiting. We're talking about a revolution. They were so intelligent that they could do all these things in ancient times. And then we do go to Ukraine, to Gagarino. She also has this small hat. What a similarity. What amazing. Hands on the breasts, under the breast, another sacred body position. I'm feeding you. I give you milk and honey in the land of milk and honey. But we also have Venuses, which are very, very, let's say, tender. Like this, not the Rubenesque, but the tender one. And something, well, which is very peculiar. You see life and death. So, death is not death. Death means soul is living on. Death is meaning the birth of the soul in a new life. So you look at soul images. Wielendorf, a little hat, plaited, hands on the breast, very, very important body position. Hohenfels, Germany, hands, this is an elderly woman. She has a belt. She has an enormous vulva, you see that? Oh, that is so important in that time. Nobody's ashamed for that at those times. Lesbüge, she has a belt with all kinds of grasses coming together. Young girl. And Lorcel, carrying a moon horn. 13 lines, red ochre, hands on the belly, highly pregnant, nearly delivering the child. And also in this shelter of Lorcel in France, several feminine images. And then the archaeologists in France say this was a special area for the females of the tribe. When they menstruated, they went together in there. When they had to deliver, they came together there. A special area for women. So Venus art of the ancestral mothers, is mostly, when it's human, it's female. So the human portrayal is determined by the feminine image. No males, practically no males are depicted. What does that mean? Why do they do this? This is her story, art history. And when I go on and the ice is melting and I come into the New Stone Age agricultural cultures, The same picture. 90% is female. All over the world. Japan, India. It's not also in Europe. It's everywhere. The centers of this extended family. In Jordan, in Israel. And you see the same body posture. Red ochre. Hundreds of nanas in Syria. But then the feminine, the female image is changing. We are reaching Hellenistic times, so we are in Iron Age, and we see her slimming down, not balanced anymore because she's on one leg, she's losing her balance, and she's even chained, and she's getting dressed. She loses her nakedness. And then the female image is shrinking till it's nearly died. She has died because Jupiter killed her. And the female image is not only changed and dressed and prisoned, but it's also eroticized. But not in India. What do you think this position in India means? They still know that it is not an erotic position of being ready for coitus or some nonsense. This is a birthing position, and they still know it in India. But in many Western books you read the other thing. It's a very big, big, big statue, beautiful statue in Barami. But 1960s arrive, and then Niki de Saint-Phal, she shoots on that image, that erotic, patriarchal female image. She was so angry. She had a bad youth. Her father did very bad things to her. Then she was sent to a boarding school of Catholic nuns, and she hated it. And then she shoot it. And then she thought, away with all this hatred. I want to make a new female image, the nanas. And she really looked far into her story. And she made this beautiful, happy, joyful, voluminous, we all know now. So I'm giving you back this flower of history, art history. This Venus art is about ancestral mothers. They give life, but when they die, they show their soul side, and they show that they live on, and will come back into new children of the tribe. So this reincarnation is still known. What a joy to know that there was so much female art found all over the world. We go to anthropology, symbolic anthropology, a new flower. And then Barbara Tetlock, professor in anthropology, she said, did you know that the first shamans were not males, but females? And then Lane Redmond, she said, well, of course, they were drumming. Because so many books were written about the first shamans were males, and the females were their assistants, in the best case. And it is not true. We have another, her story view on this item, and symbolic archaeology is giving us the facts that a shaman, sa is to know. Mu or wu in Chinese is the knowing ones. The Mudang in Korea, I've been in Korea this summer, I saw it with my own eyes. It's a cultural heritage in Korea. It's still respected. Many female healers, many female shamans in Korea and Japan, the Miko. But what do these people do? And then we go to psychology. I will come back to it later, but a small item, small information that these people are not mad. They are not witches or some bad thing. They were knowing ones, wise ones. In the proto-history of shamanism and the very early history of shamanism, but shamanism also changed when patriarchy arrived. And then, because when we are in beta, we have this very quick brain wave. But when we go into alpha, we relax, we breathe, we go into nature, we meditate, then our brainwave system is lowering itself. When we drum or make music, we lower our brainwave system and we synchronize the brainwaves. We go in theta, even slower. We go in delta. When we have delta brainwave system, we have visions. We become mystical. We have a near-death experience. We understand now much more with modern science of those ancient cultural and healing habits. So when we are in beta, then we go down. So Jung, our deep psychologist, would say, here I am in the personal consciousness. Then I come in personal unconsciousness. And then I come in collective unconsciousness. And there you can heal, and then you could see things. That's why there were the seeing, the knowing ones. And they knew how to synchronize their hemisphere, because those two hemispheres have a different brain wave pattern. And when you drum, and when you go in alpha and theta, and then you synchronize, and then you get in a broadened consciousness, and then you can heal, you can see, and you can do a lot of things. The oldest symbols in symbolic anthropology, who knows what is this? Do a guess. Nobody? No? Yes. Very good. A vulva. And you see these little houses? Like if you go into a cave, and then you come in the womb, the sacred womb. So the female body has this sacred womb, as if it is the body of Mother Earth. And then we have red ochre. So important. What does red ochre mean? Why do they use this red ochre everywhere? Venus art, graves, skeletons, everybody's gifted with red ochre. Somebody knows? What is the symbolic meaning of red ochre? Menstruation blood. And then we come into the cave, where there are a lot of vulvas and animals coming all from this womb, because it's the womb of Mother Earth, birthing life. Another symbol, vulva, red ochre, cave. Another symbol is the moon. And it's so important that females have this changing between dark moon, menstruating together in natural cultures, nature peoples. So dark moon menstruating together. Then the light is growing So ovulating together. And then the light is waning again into dark moon. Every month. Light, dark, light, dark. A dual nature of light and dark. Outer world, light. Inner world, soul world, dark. And I could show you there are many pictures of this. This is dark moon menstruating. Outward energy, dynamic, ovulation, and then waning, and then inward energy. And they used this inner technology. And it's so nice that in Holland, everywhere they are popping up red tents. What are red tents? Red tents, the red tent. There is a fire and there's a lot of music and singing and oral tradition. But the grandmother and the mother and the granddaughter, they are meeting each other. They are transforming knowledge about the feminine body, about menstruation, about pregnancy. They are together. They are really sharing things. And this is becoming very popular in Holland. Everywhere they are popping up. And it's very important that young girls are taken into these red tents to know these ancient things about how precious their body is, how precious the womb is, how precious the life-giving capacity is, how precious the menstruation blood is, because in these feminine societies, female-friendly societies, menstruation was celebrated, especially the first menstruation. Symbolic anthropology is giving us back female shamanism as an inner technology, which is not awkward. It's giving us back the oldest symbols. It's giving us back the enormous potency of menstruation. When we go to archaeology, a new flower and hers, we see all over the world dolmens. The table, the offering table, and the standing stones. Especially in Korea, most of them all over the world, but all over the world you find them. Also in North America, here not indicated, but it's a global phenomenon, as Venus art is. And they were celebrating the ancestors, they were burying the ancestors, collective graves, shamanizing the ancestors. And I'm taking you to a very ancient 10,000 BC megalithic place, Göbekli, Aingazal, Catalhuyuk, Hakila. A little journey. Now we take into archaeology the sacred landscape, because this is not a normal hill, it's a navel hill, a potbelly hill. And in that potbelly hill, navel hill, we found these megalithic structures. And what do you say about this form? Do you recognize the form? Womb-like. It's so important that you recognize this symbol of the language of the mother. And these are ancestor statues. And she was found there. And what do the male archaeologists tell us about her? Ready for coitus. Nothing about that. She was birth-giving. Her story on this sacred body position of the female. Birthing, rebirthing the ancestors. We go to Aingazal, and there we found these huge ancestor statues. And we found a double one. Mother-daughter or two sisters. Feminine duality, so ancient. No male duality, no male trinity, only female. We go to Catalhuyuk, and she was there, and they said, well, this is an animal, because she has no it has no breasts. It is an animal. And then we found her. They said, well, it must be a goddess. Well, it is probably not a goddess. It's a clan mother, the grain goddess, giving birth. And we found there the people were living and sleeping on platforms, and underneath the ancients were buried. The ancestors were buried. And there we found clan mother graves with the skeleton, the skull of the ancestress painted red. Clan mothers, clan mother graves. This is a new find from 2016, September. So near, just found, beautiful. And this is found in 2005. And here you see the Rubenesque life side and the skeleton death side, soul side, in one figurine. Life and death together. We go to Malta, last one, and what do we see there? Megalithic temples, big stones. And we see that the temples were built in the form of the small female images. There they are called the fat ladies. Fat ladies, that's it. Not a very nice name. Fat ladies. And there we found double temples, mother-daughter temples. And we also found underground temples. Very interesting place. If you can go there, please go. But now we come to such an important area, and that is Central and Eastern Europe. What happened? Early agriculture came from Anatolia, Catalhuyuk, Hakila, over Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, into Slovakia, into Czechia, into Hungary, and following the Danube, the river Danube, going into the Rhine area, coming into Germany, Holland. And so, these feminine, egalitarian cultures spread over Europe. So we have in Europe a very highly civilized old Europe. And nobody knows, because it's very ancient, 7,000 BC, 6,000 BC. It's really prehistory, her story. And we see, for example, the Vinca culture. So many female figurines were found, thousands and thousands and thousands. We see Kukucheni, Ukraine. We see the Lengel culture in Slovakia, Czechia, Hungary, Germany. And what do these people brought with them? Venus art, of course, egalitarian structure, so no domination, no war, no aggressiveness. And they brought these big houses, long houses, for the extended clan family. And research in 39 cultures really said, when you have a long house, you have a matrilineal structure. Her story vision on this archaeology. There were also in Romania, for example, big temples, multi-stored houses, so very highly civilized culture, cities, so many things. pottery ateliers, weaving ateliers, ceramics, kitchens, sacred dinners together, big statues. This is the Venus of Strelice from Moravia. This is nearly a meter, 71 centimeter, beautifully decorated in geometrical language. Everything has significance. The old Europe. And then the first language, a proto-language. So old, 6000 BC, sorry, much older than Sumeria or Indus script. And nobody knows. Nobody knows. This is her story. Women have to know, we all have to know, because it has to tell us something that we found it back. A lot of dancing and even let's say, surviving into all kinds of folk dance and folkloristic costumes. What did archaeology give us back? Megalithic structures, extended clan houses, clan mother graves, and, well, that's it. Big European ancient culture of old Europe. Exactly in the area we are right now. Isn't that wonderful? Yes. That's amazing, yes. Thank you.